Hello, welcome to Poppin Predictions, where we believe movies aren't over at the end, but are meant to be continued. You're here with Andy, Gail, and Marqueze, where we ponder what happens in a story once the credits begin to roll. On today's episode, we will be reviewing the movie Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Killer Klowns from Outer Space is a 1988 horror comedy film about a group of aliens who resemble circus clowns and invade a small town. They use bizarre clown-themed weapons to capture and kill humans, encasing their victims in cotton candy cocoons. The film blends campy horror with horror elements, making it a cult classic known for its quirky visuals and outlandish premise. Killer Klowns is rated PG-13, and you can watch it for free on YouTube, or if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it there as well. So, Andy, you are the one who's been suggesting this film, I'm pretty sure since we started this podcast a couple of years ago. And
Every week, when we initially had this podcast, every week I was like, Marqueze, we gotta watch this movie.
Gil, you should be happy you were not here for this time because it was like we were not joking. It was truly weekly that this man was asking to watch this movie. So I'm happy that we watched it just so it could be done.
Somewhere Riley is very excited that we're doing this episode. If they choose to watch this episode, if they choose to even if they are still listening to our episodes, Riley is going to be super excited for this episode because they are the ones that got me into Killer Klowns.
Oh goodness!
So, my gosh, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. We finally are doing it. So there's a lot of campy humor involved in this movie. I'm not going to go over every campy thing that happened. I'll go over a couple bit. I really want folks to watch this movie and watch it for its glory. So the movie starts off, there's this jerk. Well, first off, it starts off with the classic 80s rock music, just custom songs specifically for this movie. Which obviously we're not getting copyright stricken, so I'm not gonna try to do it, but of course, there's a cop that's like, those dang teenagers, and then there's a teenager that's like, those dang cops, and classic, just classic 80s humor there. We go to the ever so famous Makeout. I think it's Makeout Point, Makeout Ridge. In my notes it's Makeout Ridge, but I don't actually think it's Makeout Ridge. I think it's Makeout Point, and it's
something
just
like that.
Something like that. We meet our protagonist, Mike Tobacco, and Debbie Stone, of all names.
Bro, what are we doing here?
I love it. They're having a great time, and out of nowhere,
oh god,
a comet flies over, distracting Debbie, and oh, let's take a look. It lands in the middle of the woods, and then the goat, Farmer Gene, comes out and has to investigate it, and he utters the best line in the entire movie with his dog Pooh Bear. He has a dog named Pooh Bear. He utters the line, "Well, I'll be greased and fried." Oh my gosh! Ever since I've seen that movie, I've quoted that movie quoted that line. All the just nonstop. Well, I'll be greased and fried. They go up to the circus tent. Pooh Bear gets kidnapped. Farmer Gene gets vaporized. Teens go investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
Teens go and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a circus.
Mm-hmm.
They go inside. Realize it is more than just a random circus tent. Debbie is the one normal one of the two of them that's this is a little weird. They go back out to the town. They are trying to convince the cops to investigate it further. While this is all happening, the clowns have invaded Crescent. I think it's Crescent Cove.
Mm-hmm.
Have invaded the town and are just causing a ruckus. They're vaporizing people, turning them into cotton candy cocoons.
Mm-hmm.
And just
cotton candy cocoons is the wildest.
Cotton candy cocoons. That's a quote. Just causing a huge scene and just taking everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
The teens pair off with some cops. They go take them out. They eventually get into the circus spaceship. And again, I'm skipping a whole lot. But, like, they eventually go into the space circus ship and finish off the clowns, which we will do a deeper dive of how the movie ends when we get closer to the end of the podcast. As you all know, we do our predictions towards the end. So that is basically the summary. The teens try to convince the town folks to take the circus seriously, and eventually the cops are like, yeah, you know what, maybe, actually not all the cops, just one cop. One of the cops doesn't make it, and that's okay, because that cop's a jerk.
Curtis? Yeah.
Curtis Mooney, the jerk
He's
cop.
the real clown in this movie.
Honestly, if Curtis Mooney took this seriously, so many more lives would have been saved. But of course, Curtis is like, it was kind of like a role reversal if you think about it. Usually it's like the young cops are like the ones that are trying to prove themselves, and then Curtis is like, no, and it's the old cop that's like trying to humble them and like set them straight. In this movie, the young cop is like, Curtis, what are you doing? We need to follow the book. And Curtis is like, no, this is Mooney's house now.
Yeah.
Not in this area.
This
Not
is
in this
Mooney's house.
my town. So I love this movie, but I want to know, that's kind of what, the briefest of overviews. I want to know, in our group chat, Gil was going off about how you finished the movie. I kind of want to know your thoughts, Gil, on what you think this movie is, or how you.
Honestly, the movie was amazing. I went in with no expectation. Like, watch it 5 times just to really get it. But the way the movie started with the 80s style rock music inspired my wig for today. I love the intro. I love the campiness. The clowns are a little freaky, but I dug the whole thing. The way they did the rampaging of the town. Of course, it's you don't want to see someone get cocooned with cotton candy, but the way they did it was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, great movie. Loved it.
Yeah. I think the cotton candy of it all is just like the funniest thing, because it's just like a bunch of, it's like what it's like the movie never explains why the clowns are doing it. Like, they're just like,
no, not at all.
Just like kidnapping the people,
not at all.
The cotton candy.
Not in the least.
It's like and then also it's like the town folks just brains just turned off. Like, no, like, I'm telling you, Debbie is the only one in this entire movie who's just like questioning things. Like, it's just like the craziest thing. Like, Debbie's like, this isn't normal. Like, this is weird. And like everyone else is just like, oh, this is a clown. Like, this is really funny. Like, oh my gosh. And then they get vaporized and turn into cotton candy. That's really funny to me.
Normal stuff. Once again,
normal stuff.
Normal. I was really thrown for a loop when they introduced the popcorn itself.
Yeah.
As what was it, seeds or whatever for little plant monsters?
Yeah.
That threw me for a loop. I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I forgot, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, I forgot about the popcorn. And I remember when they were leaving the circus tent the first time and the clown used the gun, it didn't do anything but shoot the popcorn. I was like, that's kind of a useless gun. But then the more I thought about it, it actually was great, because it not only did it spread quote unquote breadcrumbs so that they can have a track to follow them. But then also you find out later in the movie that the popcorn is kind of like the way that it's kind of I don't know if eggs is the right term, but it's how they reproduce, or how more of them come up. So I thought that was, and then of course that's how the whole shower scene unfolds. So I thought that was a really good move.
Classic.
I was doing some small research on the film, and I found out that gun that clown used was the most expensive prop that they used for the film.
Really?
And it cost $7,000.
Jesus.
And it only worked for that one.
Oh,
I know, right? They had one shot. They had one opportunity, and they took advantage of that one. They captured it. They didn't let it slip. So, anyway, So that's my fun factoid for Killer Clowns. But yeah, the popcorn was like I like how they utilized that in the film, and like all the gimmicks were all like relevant to circus. So I thought it was pretty well thought out.
Yeah, the shadow one too, I thought was cool.
Yeah, the shadow puppet one, and also they all have 4 fingers. So like that's also is like the crazy thing. I think that's cool that each clown, like each of the clowns only have 4 fingers. But I also thought it was cool how like the clowns were in carbon copies of each other. Like each clown was like a unique look to it, and they all had like their unique ability and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Marqueze, you've been quiet over there. I know you're about to shatter this world and pop this carnival game here, but what's your take?
Yeah, I will share my take. So first thing I will say is I could see why this has a cult following. That makes sense to me. That clearly makes sense. It's very unique. And there's not much else like it. I mean, there's a lot of campy horror from the 80s.
Yeah.
But like I can see it. Like I could see like the aspects, like first of all, and once again, I'll give props to some things. Like that clown makeup was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I thought that makeup was really, really good, like for like practical effects. They looked creepy. They looked very creepy. So I thought that makeup was great. I love the fact that, it doesn't really explain why the clowns are there, like what they're really like doing, except they're just harvesting people, really. Like that's really about it. But like other than that, the closest explanation we get is that like they were here prior to some previous society, and that's why we have clowns, is because some previous, human generation saw them before when they visited Earth. And so I don't know. I'm not gonna be real. It's not really my style, as you already know. I'm just not a big fan of campy horror. It's not my thing. There's very, 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 very few campy horror things that I appreciate. That being said, it's weird. I will actually admit, I don't feel like I wasted time watching this film. It is a unique experience. Like, so even though I didn't enjoy it the most, like I actually am kind of happy to say I've seen this. Like I could say that it's well done. And for me, as soon as I was watching it, even just the first 20 minutes, I could very much feel like where it's drawing on. So I looked up Halloween, when the original Halloween came out. It was 10 years prior, 1978, right?
Yeah.
And like so much from this movie, like I said, even just the first 20 minutes, as I'm watching, I'm like, man, this gives off like a lot of like the similar horror movie slasher vibes of like the 70s and 80s or whatever, right? And so you get like, like the clowns are walking like really slow, almost like Michael Myers, but yet they always find a way to get up to you or catch up to you, and like taking up a ton of bullets but not dying. And just some of the theme music too, and the way they would kind of like pop out at you. It's like a lot of it was like, they're fully pulling from that 80s horror. There's 80s horror, so like they're fully enriching themselves in the culture of the time, but just making it really campy. So it's not my favorite, but I can appreciate it. I will at the very least say that.
Yeah, I will say that when the movie came out, it was not well received, which might not surprise anyone in this call or anyone listening, but it was not well received. It was one of those movies that, bombed in the box office, and then over time, like 20, 30 years later, even now we're pushing on 40, we're getting close to 40 years later. Like now it's sorry to do that to you all. It's kind of getting that cult following. I know, there was a game that came out. There was a Killer Clowns from Outer Space game that came out last year. Halloween Horror Nights. I think it was past year, or it was either this past year or the year before. Had like a clown's house at the event. So it definitely has its fans. I think something that's also pretty cool is that, like, I've gone into like a Spencer's or a Hot Topic, and I've seen Killer Clowns t-shirts in there as well. So it's definitely making its comeback. And so, like, I don't know if it's going to be an actual sequel, but like it wouldn't surprise me with all of the hype that's been around the past few years if there is going to be like a Killer Clowns 2. Um, but it's something that like has really stuck with me just because it there are so many campy movies that we've watched like Velocipaster we watched that was honestly not really well done at all.
Yo, Velocipaster was kind of fire, bro.
It is fire. It is fire. It is fire. It is fire. I love that movie. I love that movie. But I feel like Velocipaster and Killer Clowns, like Killer Clowns is clear in terms of like quality and
Quality, it's clearly better. It's clearly better.
Clearly Killer Clowns is better than Velocipaster and like some of the other ones. So like, it honestly like this movie aged pretty well. Like there wasn't really any moment in the movie where I was like, oh, that was appropriate in the 80s, but like
But not now.
But not now. Like there really there wasn't really anything that like really made me like, ooh, they shouldn't have said that or like anything like that. Like it just like it was just I think it was a really well done movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I could at least give it that credit that it was a really well done movie. And like I said, it's specifically within the genre of like campy horror, right? So you guys consider like reviewing it within this genre. And so like when I think of campy horror, I think of we did Velocipaster, but I think of my favorite campy horror is actually Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Unpopular opinion. Very unpopular opinion. I actually do not like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it's super boring. But 2, they like went all out campy with it, but yet kept it kind of creepy or horrifying at the same time, and like was amazing. So like to me, that's where this movie was lacking, in that at no point did I ever feel like truly scared or like horrified. Which is like, don't get me wrong, like I said, I don't think that's actually the purpose of it, but there are movies that could do both the camp and still horrifying at the same time. And you know, I will admit that's a hard level to get to. Where it's like this movie, you could tell they kind of went all in on the camp. Like they went all in on camp and then like quality. So they made sure like you got those two things. Which, like I said, for each their own. I think there's people who would appreciate that more than other things. But if I'm watching horror, whether it's campy or not, I still want to feel like a little like horror to it, you know? And I didn't get enough of that. But I don't know. Gil, how'd you feel? Do you feel like you got what you needed out this film?
I'll be honest, I had no idea what this movie was about. I didn't even look up the description. I didn't look up like the genre descriptors.
Yes.
I went in just fully unprepared. So I don't know if I went in with like any need for like certain things other than I just want to see what this movie was about. And it's a bizarre concept. So the plot was pretty basic. So I wasn't looking for a plot, but I was looking to see how were they gonna make a storyline out of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I thought they did it pretty well. Definitely campy, and I'm a big fan of camp, so I had a good time. I was laughing more than I was expecting to be like scared.
Exactly.
I was mad at, not like actual mad, but just like so frustrated with the cop Curtis for how many times he like denied the calls, that it did get me feeling emotion other than laughing. I was like getting frustrated, like, bro, answer the phone. But outside of that, no, I didn't really know what to do. Right.
Your job, man. Your job.
Yeah. Good movie.
Good movie. Question for you all, because I have the answer to this. I want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Dead Meat. Dead Meat for this question. I want to know what your guess, including Cotton Candy Cocoon, what is the unalive count for this movie? Or your guess.
I was actually trying to count at some point, and then I just stopped counting.
And this is including the Cotton Candy Cocoon.
Including the ones that were already in the ship before they started rampaging?
Including the ones that were in the ship, including the ones at the end, like all of them.
200 plus. easily.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Marquise?
I'm gonna go 199.
Oh my
Congratulations.
God.
Well, you know what? Marquise? The price is wrong. Gil's the closest. Gil's the
Oh,
closest.
cool.
It was 200.
Hey!
It was 234.
Wow.
So that final scene at the end of the movie, they counted anywhere from like 150 to 180 cocoons.
Jeez.
So like, and then of course you had like there was like 11 in the beginning. There was like 30 people, like 20 people in the beginning that got vaporized. So all this to say, bringing me to my next question, there were a lot of campy deaths in this film. Was there one that stuck out to you two the most?
The one where the clown's on the motorcycle gang, and he rides up on his little bicycle, and like the motorcycle, one of the guys like makes
Yep,
fun of
that's
him,
what I was gonna say.
breaks his bike, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. Obviously, I wasn't expecting him to just like bop his whole entire head off. That
Bro,
like I was
bro,
I
just
Lock
like
him,
I
stock
gasped.
him.
just,
Yeah, just boing. That's the one I remember most. I thought you were gonna ask which one were we hoping wouldn't, get cocooned, and I was worried about the dog for the longest time. But the dog survives, right?
Yeah,
Who?
yeah, no, definitely Gil, definitely
Okay.
Gil. No, Marquise.
Oh my God, no!
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is
I'm gonna be
yeah.
honest, and I'm kind of sad right now. Damn, not
No,
Pooh.
that's already a point down for this movie. The dog doesn't make it.
Yeah.
All right. I hate
What
this
about
movie.
you, Marquise?
I mean, the biker scene was really what I was gonna say. Uh, Honestly, just the cocooning in itself is pretty disturbing to me. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie, dude. Like
yeah,
the
the whole
time candy
process of it
cocooning
all.
is just kind of like when they first ripped it open. There's just a dude just kind of in there. I'm like, bro, that's a lot. So,
Yeah.
Does it
also, like,
liquidate
I don't.
people? Is that the thing? Is it liquidates them?
I think that's what it does over time. And I mean, like,
Jesus.
that's kind of what happens for caterpillars and butterflies. Like, that's the
Yeah.
process for that whole thing. So yeah, I could definitely see that.
What was yours?
Mine was mine's in a different direction.
Mhm.
Mine was Curtis Mooney, and that when you were
Yes.
talking earlier,
Okay.
about like when you were talking earlier about like there wasn't really anything scary. I think the scene where Dave, the other cop, the young cop, Dave Hansen, when he gets back to the station
hmm
and like sees all like the clown shoes imprints all over the place and is trying to find Curtis, and he doesn't find him in the cell. He finds the two teenagers that they had arrested earlier that were cocoonified, and then he comes out and sees Mooney sort of as like a puppet at this point, being controlled by the clown with like the face paint and everything, and then like he's like clearly dead, and then like the clown wakes him up and he's talking, and the clown is talking to Dave through Mooney. I think that is the one that kind of sticks with me the most. And that is probably as close to horror as this movie actually will get. I think that's probably it's either going to be that scene itself is going to split people. People are either going to like take it completely unseriously and like brush it off, or like people might be like, I wouldn't say like terrified, like it could freak people out or disturb people, because like I think the actor does a really good job. Like he like really does a good job of like becoming a puppet, and like you could see that the clown is talking to Dave through the cop. So that's the one that kind of sticks with me the most.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally fair. For me, if I had to pick a most horrifying thing for me, it's gonna sound weird. It truly just was the makeup. Like these clowns really did look disturbing. I think it's like it wasn't just like it was like scary clown makeup, like I don't know if anyone here seen Terrifier or anything like that, but like it's not like it's just like some creepy clown makeup as much as it's just like the way their bodies are, you know, like the practical effect makeup, the way their faces are shaped. It's just like everything about it is kind of like
significantly taller. They're like significantly taller,
significantly bigger, you know, and like it feels like it's really this is where I feel they did a really great job is that they really made these clowns, which are, you know, in our head when you think of a clown, you think of a human with face paint. They really did a great job of making these clowns feel alien. Like they really actually do feel more like an alien species than they do like some type of human clown makeup type thing, you know?
Yeah, like they make them look like human enough to make it like recognizable, but then like different enough that you could definitely tell like they're not from this world.
Yeah.
Like Gail, you were saying something?
I was gonna say they did Mooney wrong with the way they like made him into a puppet. Like he's the only one that really got like ridiculed after his death. So like,
I mean,
the
he kind
clowns
of deserved
really
it, though.
just like,
like,
yeah,
you know?
no, I agree, but like the clowns really just like made a mockery of him, and I get it because he was also talking crap to them too. So he kind of got what he was asking for there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought that was pretty funny.
I feel like Andy, I really need to know how you feel about this, man. Like, how do you feel about the idea of like their noses being their weakness? Like their nose?
I think it's appropriate for the movie. I think like I think there are some design questions that like I am just like, how come they're not better protected? But
no casing, no nothing,
like no casing, like no nothing, like. But my question, and I think that's good, but like I think I'm fine with it, like overall, because like this isn't a serious horror film. Like if this was a serious horror film, I'd be like, okay, come on now. But because it's like campy, clearly it's like it's But my thought process is like, did they even know that that's like their weak area? Like maybe they didn't realize.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about it, if they've invaded throughout time, like they might not have invaded an era when there was like guns. And so they might not have had to have worried about their noses being hit or anything
from far
like
away,
that.
from distance, yeah.
Exactly.
So, like a bow and arrow, pop that, you know?
Yeah.
A spear, just like
yeah.
You just never know. You never know when they have invaded previously, like if they've had to ever encounter anything like that before. So
yeah.
I think it's hilarious overall, just like the fact that their clown nose is the
It's a funny idea.
Have you all ever gone to like circuses as kids, or have you all like avoided them? Or
I never went to circus as a kid. I always went to like theme parks where like might have a clown here, but like I don't really remember clowns. Like I never grew up with a fear of clowns. Clowns weren't like a big part of any event or anything I ever went to. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I can't really think of a time I went to a circus as a kid. It was mainly like amusement parks or something like that. My biggest memory of a clown as a kid, gosh, it's not Air Bud, but it's one of those movies like that where the clown has the dog and then the kid finds the dog and the clown is like an abusive owner and then the dog has to choose between the clown and the kid. I don't know if you know which movie I'm talking about, but it's like Air Bud. It's a great movie. It's, oh my God, like tears.
I've never seen an Air Bud movie like that.
What? Bruh, it's like I don't know if it's like Air Bud particularly.
Comment if you want us to do. Comment if you want us to.
Bruh, hold on.
Is it Beethoven?
Ask ChatGPT real quick. I didn't think this movie was. No, bro, hold up.
I think it's Beethoven, right? Because Beethoven is also a dog movie.
Was it animated or was it live action?
Live action between the clown who is his owner and a kid. Let me see.
Oh no, that is Air Bud. That's like the first Air Bud.
Is it Air Bud?
I feel like it's the first one. Yeah.
Wait, no, wait. Hold on, wait. I'm saying something. The movie you're thinking of sounds like Shiloh 2, Shiloh season.
Shiloh, yeah, Shiloh.
Tells sort of a beagle who has to decide between staying with his cruel original owner, Judd Travers, not a clown but a rough character. A young named Marty. Something similar.
Yeah, I remember. When you said clown, I was like, that threw me off. But I've seen Shiloh.
There's one where the guy is dressed as a clown, like he's dressed in clown makeup.
Are you sure
Whatever,
it's
I
not
will
Killer Clowns
find
from Outer
out.
Space?
Yeah,
This
you might be
little
getting your
dog, you
movies
know?
mixed up.
Bruh, whatever.
when I was, so my experiences with circus is I haven't been to one as an adult. But I remember going to one as a kid, and like the big famous clown was named like Bozo the Clown, and he had like the big bright,
I feel
like
that's a
big
classic
bright,
clown name, you know?
big bright orange hair with like, it was like a mohawk style thing. It was really cool. And he was really funny. And then when I was in kindergarten, we had like a graduation ceremony where
With Bozo the Clown?
it was like a graduation circus, and like every kid had like their own routine. So like
Oh,
I
that's
was
cool.
like I was the buff clown. Like they gave me
You were
like
the
a
killer.
they gave me like an inflatable. They gave me like an inflatable
Yeah.
like, barbell, and I just was like, yeah.
You get the
look at
Hulk
me
Hogan
go.
mustache.
Exactly. Even the Joker makeup just like all the way here.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, that was a good time. That was a good
Oh
time.
my god. Yo, should we get to this review to the wait, it's been so long. Yeah, to the ending. Let's describe. Andy, you want to start talking about this?
Yeah. So it kind of takes off from two characters who we have not really talked too much about, because transparently with how this movie is, like they just throw characters in and out, and like no one really like the three main people are Mike Tobacco, Debbie Stone, and Dave Hansen, with like Curtis Mooney thrown in there. But two other semi-important characters, especially for the ending of the movie, are Rich and Paul Terenzini, or Terenzi, something like that. Whatever. Sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Rich and Paul. I just don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Our bad, Paul.
Dave discovers that the weak point, like Marquise said earlier, is the clown nose. If you shoot the clown nose, or if you break the clown nose, like that is the ultimate weak spot for them, and you take out the clowns. And so Debbie gets kidnapped by the clowns, and the clowns, like, they don't kill her. They literally put her into this giant inflatable ball and bring her back to the circus tent. And so like Rich, Paul, Dave, and Mike are all going to the circus tent to try to rescue Debbie. And they get there. Mike and Dave get separated from Rich and Paul. Rich and Paul end up in like a McDonald's ball pit looking thing with two clowns there, and they as in Mike. Yeah, I know, right? Mike and Dave find the inflatable balloon that Debbie's in. Dave frees Debbie, but now it's like a mad race to get out of the circus tent. And something to know about Rich and Paul is that they drive an ice cream truck. That is a crucial detail for later on. So back to Dave and Mike and Debbie. The clowns finally catch up to them because they walk into the circus tent without running into any clowns. And the clowns show up. They are trying to make their escape. They are chased down the hallway. Dave kills a couple of clowns. And then another iconic moment, they get down to the end of a hallway, and there's a door. And then he opens the door, and he's like, another door. Mike is like, another door. And then Mike opens it, another door.
Another one.
Another one.
Every time he opens the door. So Dave is just like protecting them as long as he can. Eventually, Mike opens up the last door. They run in, and then there's no way out at this point. It's like they're at their Alamo. They're protecting. At this point, they're at their last stand. They climb up like a pyramid of toys and obstacles and stuff like that, and things are not looking good. They're getting surrounded. There's like 10 plus, 15 plus clowns at this point. It's looking like they're not going to make it. And out of nowhere, the ice cream truck crashes through the wall, distracts all the clowns. They get away, And then the leader of the clown clan comes down, and it's this huge clown, like even bigger than all of the regular clowns, just giant clown comes out. And Dave is like, forget about me, go save yourself. And the clown leader throws the ice cream truck with Rich and Paul inside. It explodes, and with them inside, and you assume they didn't make it. Mike and Debbie leave, and the giant clown grabs Dave, and as Dave is about to not make it, he grabs his badge and smashes the giant clown's nose. Mike and Debbie all leave. They meet out with some state troopers, and then the circus tent explodes, and you're thinking, okay, well, Dave sacrificed himself for the greater good. We're all good here. And then out of nowhere, the clown car falls down. Dave comes out. Rich and Paul were hiding in the freezer. They all survive. Happy ending. Everyone lives, and it fades to credits. So that is how the movie ends. Gil, since this is going to be your first time, leading this, we led it on the previous episode, but I want to know your take for this episode for the first time. What do you think happens now that the movie's over?
So I think what's going to happen is there's actually more survivors on that ship. We just don't see them yet. And so I think what's going to happen is they're going to try to find their way back home. And we're going to fast forward like 10 years, fast forward 10 years. They're doing like a 10-year celebration anniversary of the Killer Clan attack. And then they get attacked again. And then going back to the survivors, what I think is going to happen is they're going to find another posse of clowns that are like the exact opposite. They're like the pacifists. They're like trying to like make world peace, universal peace. And they're going to team up with the survivors, go to planet Earth, and help fight the killer clowns. And then it's going to be happy ending all over again. That's what I think is going to happen next.
That's cool. I like it. We get to learn more about the clowns. We learn that there are different subsects of the clowns.
Yeah.
So not all of them are trying to kill and capture the human.
Just some of them.
Just some of them. I like it. Marquise, do you have an idea of what you would like to see happen in Killer Clowns 2?
Yeah, so definitely, a couple clowns escape. They chill out. They're like, hey, we're whatever. But a new generation of clowns arise.
Oh no.
And they're like, yo, we're gonna come back and take revenge. We're coming back to Earth.
Ooh.
They come back in 2020 of February.
You monster.
I see what you did there, Red.
Oh gosh.
Like the last few days of February 2020, right before Marqueze, they're like, we're gonna take revenge. We're gonna take revenge on Earth and everything that happens on Earth, right? They got Gen Z they're dealing with, all this stuff. People saying no cap. They don't know what it means. It is what it is, right? But then all of a sudden, there's a whole big battle, once again, a bunch of teenagers trying to, stop them, whatever, all this stuff. Basically, all the same stuff that happens in the first movie. But then as they're about to escape, one of them starts to cough a little bit.
Oh my
God.
God.
A little bit. And then they fly off back home. And then they bring COVID to their planet and all the aliens die and we win.
Hey.
That's good. I like it.
I like the tie-in.
COVID timeline.
I've got two different endings.
Damn.
Two different things. So one of them, and they're both based on alien movies. So, or inspired. I don't want to say based. Inspired by alien movies. So, my prediction is that we don't learn about the clown home planet. We don't know much about what's going on there. So my prediction is that for the second movie, we're getting towards they come to invade Earth, but they aren't here to stay. They're just gathering resources, cocooning people, and they're heading back to their home planet.
Mhm.
So we're coming in towards the movie starts towards the end of the invasion. Well, one of the folks on the plane, there are not one, but a couple of the people on the clown circus tent survive, and they run into, similar to what Gil was saying, pacifist clowns that are there to kind of help them.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot of the movie is that the pacifist clowns are trying to protect the humans and trying to phone home and trying to get them back home. So we get a little reverse ET here.
Mm-hmm.
My other thing, which is just, let's fully embrace the camp. Let's go. They went campy here. I'm gonna say full camp.
Embrace the camp.
This one, it goes back to, it's another invasion. It's a random Tuesday night. They invade planet Earth, and they're doing their thing. And out of nowhere, there's another spaceship that arrives, and it's just a very clear box. You see the people inside the ship, but you don't see the ship itself. It's just a clear looking box. Mm-hmm. It lands, and those aliens are just trapping people inside, and everyone's what's happening here? We're getting invaded by clowns, and now we're getting invaded by, are those mimes? We've got
God, mimes.
We've got murder mimes from Mars coming and invading Earth, and the clowns are looking at the mimes it's Tuesday, it's our turn. You're supposed to come on Wednesday. What are you doing here? So the clowns start fighting the mimes. The Earth, people on Earth are fighting the clowns, and then the mimes are you know what? Let's talking to the mimes. So the mimes are talking to the clowns. Listen, we both are looking to invade here. We might as well join forces here. And they do a little AVP, Alien vs. Predator sort of thing, and just attack the humans, and no one survives. It's just a whole out war.
Oh God.
Killer clowns from space featuring murder mimes from Mars. Silent but deadly.
Who will win? Stay tuned.
Oh God.
Exactly.
That's what I want. I love that ending, to be honest.
I would love to see that.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
I would love to see that.
I think that they should do it. Y'all want to see what Jimmy AI or AI Jimmy would say?
AI. What does AI Jimmy have to say about this?
All right.
Please.
Because this is going to be a new segment for folks, what we're going to do, one of the new things we added a new host. We have Gil. One of the other new things we're looking to do here is we're gonna see what Jimmy would say. AI Jimmy would say.
What would Jimmy do?
What would Jimmy do?
WWJD.
Exactly. So, Jimmy, what would a sequel to Killer Klowns from Outer Space look like? All right.
I would want to know, would the music still be the same? Would it be 80s style, or are we doing modern music?
That's, you know what? I think it just depends on the era.
Yeah.
All right. So we never know what we're gonna get from Jimmy. So this could either work really well or this could flop. So we're trying new things here. Hopefully this works. If not, hopefully it just makes somebody laugh out there. So a sequel to Killer Klowns from Outer Space could expand on the original campy's horror comedy tone by introducing new, more outlandish clown-inspired alien technology and bizarre weapons. The plot could follow the survivors of the first invasion as they try to rebuild, only to discover that the clowns have returned with a larger, more dangerous force, this time aiming to take over the world. New elaborate circus-themed locations might be introduced, such as an entire clown city or a twisted carnival spaceship. The clown's abilities could could have evolved with new tricks like using balloon animals to track victims or weaponizing carnival rides. Human characters would likely form an underground resistance, fighting back using unconventional methods, possibly aided by new quirky allies like rogue clowns from Alien race.
God.
The sequel could also delve deeper into the clowns' origins, adding an element of dark mystery to their bizarre world while keeping the humor intact. Thank you, Jimmy.
That was really good. It's kind of like a blend of everything.
I love it, Jimmy. That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Good job, Jimmy. I'm patting Jimmy on the head here.
Good job, Jimmy.
Nice, cool. Well, I think that's it for predictions. So, for folks who this is your first episode, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I know that last episode was our relaunch, so thank you for joining us again and continuing on. Hope if you haven't seen that first episode, go watch that one. That was
please.
But what we do here is we have a popcorn rating scale, which Gil is showcasing perfectly. We have what's called a small bucket. If think about out of 1 to 10, a small bucket is 1 to 3. It was not good, not worth to watch. Don't do it. Stay away. A medium bucket is 4 to 6. It's worth to watch, but maybe keep it lower towards your movie watch list. It doesn't need to be. You could get to it when you get to it. A large bucket popcorn is 7 to 9. Put it towards the top of your watch list. Doesn't need to be the next movie, but definitely should be there amongst stuff. And if it's 10 out of 10, we've got a big bucket rating. 10 out of 10, big bucket. Stop what you're doing right now. Go to the nearest circus near you and enjoy some killer clowns from outer space.
Do it.
So that being said, Gil, I like being the one that decides because I get to throw. I don't, you all don't know who I'm going to say. Gil,
yeah. Whoa.
What would you rank on our popcorn rating scale? Killer clowns from outer space.
It's been a hard decision. I've been thinking about it since the moment I watched the movie. And I kind of on the fence. My gut says medium popcorn.
My mind's telling me no.
But my mind's telling me no. I would say medium popcorn. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. Very campy, but I feel like it would capture the attention of select few. I feel like it's because it's very niche, and so because it's so niche, I think it would get a medium popcorn for me. But if you like campy, maybe you might put a large bucket or a big bucket. Who knows?
Exactly. I'll go next. I'll go next because I want to save Marqueze from that.
That's for last.
I kind of agree with Gil. I want with every fiber of my being, I want to give this a large bucket. And I will say this is like a medium bucket with extra butter for me.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is that there are camping movies out there, and we talked about this earlier, where there are camping movies that it's hard to watch. And I really feel like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is not a hard watch. It's only an hour and 20 minutes, so it's also a pretty short movie. I feel like the movie, something that lacks with the movie is that there were scenes that just weren't necessary. There were a lot of times where they were going around and vaporizing humans and turning them into cocoons, and I was just they did an entire scene for one thing. It's we get it. You're there, you're taking over the town. We don't need to have 5 different scenes of you going to different people to just kind of showcase what the alien clown race is all about. So that's why for me, I can't really see it as a large. Is there a campy movie out there that could make it into a large? Maybe, but that's a tall ask to tell. But Killer Clowns. That being said, if Gil was saying, if you love campy, if you just love classic '80s horror films, this is the movie to watch. It doesn't need to be the next movie you watch, but I think you should have it somewhere in the middle of your movie watch list. All right, Marqueze. Go ahead, take us home here.
Just
All
to
right,
comment
buddy.
real quick before I get into it. If we haven't done Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 yet, I would highly suggest.
Let us
Only-
know in the comments below.
Oh, that's right. If you want a possible large
Comment,
bucket
watch,
campy
subscribe
horror,
if you want us to do it.
this is saying. But anyway, I agree. Andy, I fully agree with you. This is not a hard watch. Like I fully agree with you. Like I'll admit, I was not wanting to watch this when it came on, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for the squad. I'm gonna
I appreciate it, dude.
I'm gonna do this, right? And yeah, like it was not hard to watch. Like I don't know how much I'm gonna use the word enjoyed, but like it was entertaining. And to me, here that is, and I'll say that's something I was told a long time ago. Like the point of film, any type of film media, is to entertain. Now it can have all types of other points to it, but at the very least, it is always to entertain. And so you need to be doing that. And I will say, this was entertaining. I don't want to say I enjoyed it particularly. I would not say I'd want to necessarily watch it again, but it is entertaining, and I could even recommend it to somebody who I know likes this type of stuff. I think I would recommend this because I do think for its genre, it is pretty decent quality. So all that being said, this gets us like medium but no butter. Like no
There
butter,
we
bro.
go. Oh my gosh, I
heard
heard you start saying small, and then I heard you reconsider it, and then you went medium. Let's go.
Hey.
He wanted to small so bad. He wanted to say small, but I know we've seen
certified hater.
We've seen
some small buckets. This is not a small bucket. This is not a small bucket. This is very much a medium, but the medium is it's no butter and it's stale. It's like 2-day-old popcorn. It's sitting on the couch, bro. But it's still medium. So
Marqueze, one last question before we get out of here. Are you mad at me for making you watch this one?
I am not. I'm actually thankful. Because this is a movie that is very popular, and that any movie that I've heard about that like I've never looked into, but I've heard about just because it's so popular, I want to watch at some point. And I was never going to watch this at any point on my own. So the fact that I've been forced to watch something that I kind of low-key wanted to watch at some point, I'm thankful for. And like it was anytime something's better, I had low expectations. So anytime something's better than I thought, I'm also not mad about that either. So no, I'm not mad. I thank you, Andy.
Awesome. Thank you. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to my good friends Will and Max, who also, I think they were the ones that originally got me into it, but then I watched it again with Riley. So shout out to all my friends that got me introduced into this. Gil, why don't you go ahead, take us home?
All right, let's do this. So what did you think of the continuation of Killer Klowns? Which storyline did you like most? Ours, AI Jimmy's, ChatGPT? Did you agree? Please follow us on Twitter at PoppinPredict and Instagram at poppinpredictions.pod to let us know your thoughts and how you think the movie should continue. You can also catch us on YouTube if you're not currently here, if you want to see us at Poppin Predictions next time. Until then, keep popping, everyone. Peace.
Peace.